Filtering sand, water flows, parallel to time they run. Pulverized earth, poured by machines, coursing through sky-high monuments of glass and steel. Architects from a time when things meant more, two more, four more. Many have come, many are gone. That sand, water, stone just is. I opened up this YouTube video with a poem that came to me one day when I was randomly just driving into the city of Detroit. And this sort of picks up where the last video left off regarding clarity and moments that come to you regarding creativity. Like, why does a painter decide on a mark that finishes off the piece and takes it to the next level, ties it all together, and makes it work? A mark that, standing in front of the piece for hours, never came to you. Hours, days, weeks, or months later, this mark appears. Now, those words came to me likely because I know Detroit well, have spent thousands of hours in Detroit, know the history of Detroit, see the result of the auto empire, everything that came with it, the architects it attracted, Albert Kahn, Frank Lloyd Wright, Mies van der Rohe, to name just a few. But what about that clarity and creativity in regards to art? And I'm thinking about abstraction when I talk about this. Again, because it's something that comes out of you from life experiences. You're not necessarily staring at anything, using any type of real reference other than perhaps visual and emotional takeaways from something in life. So without getting too scientific and wordy about creativity, I looked into a couple of things regarding the hormonal and neurological processes that may contribute to this decision making. And two of the primary things that came up were called divergent and real world problem solving. The divergent had to do with tests given to a group that had pre-designed, pre-selected questions, and then they would draw conclusions from that. The real world contribution had to do with visual takeaways that you experience as an artist, painter, songwriter, musician, poet, and being receptive to that, which is key. There are more than half dozen systems in the human body that produce hormones, from the brain all the way down into the organs, kidneys, etc. And collectively, they're referred to as the endocrine system. Full disclosure, I have a small background in biology, studied some physiology, human anatomy, gross anatomy, chem physics, bio, comparative anatomy, things like this. So I'm familiar with this space, although I am not a neurologist and did not study this intensively. But some of the studies that I looked at tried to define how these things were leaked into the body, into the brain. It goes into the bloodstream, and it basically tells the systems in the body what to do and when to do it. So to sort of summarize some of these papers that I read regarding this hormonal process, this transfer of hormones, the secretion of hormones, the combination of hormones that were secreted from different organs at different times. They were largely based on, internal and external factors in your environment. At the end, it seemed they couldn't say exactly why they were secreted, in what combination they were secreted, what level of dosage, if you will, was occurring from one versus the other, or the combination, and why they contributed to the choices made during the creative process. I'll just leave it at that with those. It's very complex, and could take actually years of study. They can't say exactly why. Some people are more creative, and in what capacity they're creative. Those types of things. It just seems like at the end of the day, people like that are open and receptive to certain things. They also have something to say, and at the end of the day, you just need to say it. You can see this video goes from something a little more complex to some things that are a little more basic, but at the same time, I don't think we work much higher than the basic emotional response and reaction to things that make us want to, in this case, produce something, in the arts. And I guess one, takeaway would be, as far as responsiveness to things, you don't need to be the best at it. You just need something to say. Kurt Cobain is not an opera singer. Their band is not Antonio Vivaldi or whatever. But they had something to say, they were honest about it, and they just did it. But they did have a muse, I guess you could say, as many artists do, writers, etc. And that could be something that we could talk about maybe next time. What is a muse? I know it's been talked about for centuries, but is that a thing? Is it necessary? Where do you find it? Why do you find it interesting? Why does it make you produce something? Definitely an abstraction, which I feel is a takeaway, as I might have said, from life experiences and other things. Maybe a muse is there, but you're not literally translating it. It's just a takeaway from life. Anyway, see you next time.